This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Perotti, Sonny Boy, Nick Perotti across the way. And our program being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne. It's back. The Sierra Chicken. Oh, my, it is so good. Taco John's of Cheyenne, of course, South Greeley Highway being rebuilt. So, again, check out the Taco John's food truck, and you can enjoy Southsiders, your delicious Taco John's eats. Just find the food truck, usually in the Outlaw Saloon parking lot. We also want to thank Kia of Cheyenne over in Nation Way. AJ and Greg and the entire crew over there have a great lineup of Kias on the lot right now for your inspection, your test drive, and then just sign on the dotted line. Some great deals going on right now, and take home the Kia of your dreams. Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Pine Valley Bank ×2, banking done the old-fashioned way, done the high-technology way, done everywhere in between, and you and me always first and foremost in the minds of Platte Valley Bank over in Banda High and at the corner of College and Pershing. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Delrange, directly across from Powers Field and from Menards Rain City's Place. Again, for a limited time, you must try. It is really, really good. Their smokehouse barbecue bacon sandwich, and then wash it down with their strawberry passion tea lemonade. Here for a limited time only at Chick-fil-A. Again, see them for 3 squares, Monday through Saturday, Windmill and Delrange. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs. Get your meds, your prescriptions filled right there with Gene and the great staff always to wait on you. They're there Monday through Saturday. Same location as always, next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body and the Auto Glass and Detail Center, part of Lennox Enterprises for a quarter century. They've been taking care of our vehicles' woes, and you can see the Auto Body Shop over on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard. First Year Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, offering right now on a 27-month CD. How about an APY of 3.1%? Don't snooze, you're going to lose on that one. First Year Bank, banking done the old-fashioned way, customer service, you and me always right there at the forefront at First Year Bank. Mondello's Pizzeria, directly across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Paisan cuisine, unmatched. And again, not corporate. This is locally owned, locally operated, home style and homemade recipes from Joe Mondello and the gang over at Mondello's Pizzeria. Open 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. Yes, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. And we get our show underway. It is being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. We go first to Nick, and he may have a scoreboard.
Well, for at least for one more weekend, at least looking back for Cheyenne Mustangs down in Greeley, Colorado, as they were competing in the Colorado State Championships. Looking back on Thursday's action, 2 games for the Cheyenne Mustangs. One was a win, one was a loss. The first loss, at least, was 11-3 against the Rough Riders Rutledge team. The win, however, for Cheyenne Mustangs was against Legacy High School, final of 11-5. Friday, 1 game against Premier West. Unfortunately for the Mustangs, it was a 10-4 loss. And then Saturday's lone game, the USA Prime, it was the opponent for the Cheyenne Mustangs, and that was also a loss for the Cheyenne Mustangs by a final 11-1. So with that being all said, Cheyenne Mustangs, their season has officially wrapped up. They will not go and compete in the Connie Mack World Series qualifiers they did last season, at least for the Cheyenne Mustangs with the weekend that was. They'll wrap up the season 22-25 overall. For Cheyenne Post 6, they were down in Fort Collins, Colorado this past weekend competing in the Gabe Pando tournament. Looking at Friday's contest, 1 against the Rocky Mountain Lobos, where it was a win for Cheyenne Post 6, 6-2. Saturday, 1 game against the Billing Scarlets, which was a loss, however, 5-3 for Cheyenne Post 6. And Sunday's lone game against the Windsor Wizards, that was a loss as well, too, for Cheyenne Post 6 by a final of 2-1. So with all that being said from the weekend that was for Cheyenne Post 6, they are officially 50-21 overall, and that will be their regular season record as that wraps up as they get ready for this weekend, as they are, again, automatic entries into the Connie Mack World Series, which gets started coming up this Friday down there in Farmington, New Mexico.
Major League Baseball on tap when we get off the air here today at 5 o'clock. Red Sox and the Rays in the Trop. Rockies will be back east as they continue their eastern swing. This time they visit the Nats at Nationals Park. That'll be at 5:05. Peter Lambert on the hill for the Rocks. He'll be going up against Eric Fetty for the Nationals. Cardinals will be on the road at Pittsburgh to take on the Pirates at PNC. Indians, Blue Jays in the Rogers Center. Reds, Brewers at Miller Park. 6 o'clock games will have the Marlins at the White Sox. Athletics will take on the Astros. Very key series going on at Minute Maid in Houston. Yankees, Twins at Target Field. 7 o'clock games. 7:40 at Chase in Phoenix, where it's 104 degrees this afternoon. Orioles and the Diamondbacks, 7:45 at Oracle Park. The Giants in San Francisco playing host to the Cubs. We're going to talk about a marked difference, 104 in Phoenix, Arizona, 67 right now at the City by the Bay. And Rangers M's at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. They'll get things underway at 8:10. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find the store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
Had a good Monday afternoon. Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. We'll get this out of the way first since he's not a big fan of it. If you missed out, the Open. Shane Lowry wins going away as he cards a 15 under par, even shooting even par yesterday. And he'll pick up the Open check for $1,935,000. Tommy Fleetwood finished second. The Yank that was in third place was Tony Finau as he finished 7 under par. Brooks Koepka tied for fourth, as he picked up about a little over $500,000 for his fourth place finish. So again, the Open is history, and Shane Lowry
Thankfully
wins going away.
Wasn't he a long shot in that tournament?
Yes,
From
he
what
was.
I understood.
Yes,
Again,
he
a
was.
few people that cashed in, or at least got the opportunity to put some money in Vegas, came away with a nice little payday if you were able to put money on him. So gotta like the long shots out there. I think Tiger Woods done day 2, day 3.
Yeah, he didn't make the cut. You know, the interesting story was Jordan Spieth, that maybe this was going to be his comeback as he shot a 70 on the first day, 67 day 2, 69, worked himself into contention, then fired a 77 yesterday. So gone, see you bye. 1 under par for the tournament. So yeah,
Either way.
It's a good tournament. It's always interesting to play at the Open. Again, sand traps like no other. You go out to any of the courses here, you got just like a little bit of sand, a little bit of a lip, and you hit it out. And these are what they call bunkers at the Open. But anyway, it's over. Shane Lowry wins. All right,
well, that's why they're prepared. They're professionals. That's why they get paid somewhat of the big money. There you go.
They make some big bucks.
They're supposed to deal with stuff like this. But either way, again, golf, at least
it doesn't tickle your fancy. I just thought I'd throw it in there. All right, let's go to Major League Baseball.
Well, we got plenty to talk about, whether it is Facebook poll that I put up.
Yeah, you
Again,
put a poll up. I was watching
we'll
that.
get into that, as well as we're trying to get a few individuals from town to at least join us for the first time on the show. Also, too, we'll talk a bit about American Legion. We will talk, or at least kind of do the exit interview coming up at least this week with the Cheyenne Mustangs. As I mentioned, their season is officially over, 22-25 overall. They will not go postseason bound like the Cheyenne Post 6, unfortunately. So, again, we will talk with assistant coach Reed Thompson coming up on Thursday on this show. No show Wednesday, obviously, with Cheyenne Day, as you can probably hear in the background. Thunderbirds
Are warming up.
Yeah, they're getting prepared. At least we'll see. Weather's been a little iffy, and it's going to continue to be iffy throughout the entire week.
I thought Wednesday we were supposed to get a little
Wednesday
better.
is where it's supposed to pick up rain-wise, where we're expecting thunderstorms and rain showers. So Thunderbirds, enjoy it while you can these couple days while they're out practicing, because we've seen it where if weather is an issue, they will not go about it on Wednesday.
I thought the way I read the forecast over the weekend was
well, that's
Monday.
the weekend as of today. They've updated it. It's supposed to be heavy chances of rain.
You know what's interesting, too? This front that is coming through, probably it's north of Wellington, the end of the front, and then again it's going through Wyoming. Because I can tell you, I was in Thornton, Colorado on Saturday, and I was in Parker yesterday. Now, they got pummeled with a thunderstorm Saturday afternoon. I mean, Denver really got hit hard. But yesterday as well as on Saturday, and I had games that were 9 o'clock in the morning, got done by noon. We're talking 90 degrees by the time the games were over.
Well, guess what? None of our local teams, Colorado Rockies, not even in this area, so it doesn't matter at this point in time. Again, for Cheyenne Post 6, as they go down this weekend, they're getting at least set, I do believe, today, if not tomorrow. They'll at least be in the events regarding the Connie Mack World Series. So, again, they're down in Farmington, New Mexico. Weather has not been an issue down there. So,
but it was interesting, too, yesterday where we were at Ponderosa High School in Parker. It was hot there yesterday that a bull snake, about a 3.5-foot bull snake, crawled into our dugout to get into the shade. I mean, that's how hot it was down there. So, matter of fact, it slithered underneath.
Well, it's been a heat wave across the entire U.S.
Except for here.
Well, we already had our 90s. At least went its course, and now the rest of the country's going to feel the brunt of this cold, whether it is out there, Midwest, all the way out to the East Coast. So we'll see what happens. But again, local baseball at least wrapping up. Doesn't have to worry about the weather that's happening here in the Rocky Mountain region. The only thing it would affect is just the Expedition League that is still continuing on, whether it's in Scotts Bluff all the way up in Casper. That's the only teams that's going to be affecting.
How's our buddies team doing up there in Gary? They're still leading the league, right?
Yeah, well, Western Nebraska, they're just fresh off of their all-star break, so to speak. So, again, things are still going well for the Pioneers. Again, Expedition League, if you have not, again, 100 miles at least on I-80 up north there in Nebraska. If you have not checked out an Expedition League game, do recommend while they do have a few games remaining in this season. But there is that. Again, we can talk about local baseball, MLB, big notes. Again, Rockies finally get a win after pretty much losing for the past week and a half, it seems like.
The week that wasn't for the
Well, it doesn't get any easier again now, taking on a Washington Nationals team that is red hot as well, trying to at least retain that number one wild card spot. So on the road against Nationals, 4 games as well for the Colorado Rockies coming up. So good luck to the Rocks, where it seems like they're in a complete tailspin. But also, too, rumors have been at least circulating of pieces might be on the move now from the Rockies.
Well, and this is interesting because, and even down, in Colorado with guys that I hang out with, and again, they're Rocky fans down there, don't get me wrong. So we're having that discussion yesterday and even having a discussion with a couple other minds earlier this morning with the Rockies, and you and me, we've had this discussion, too, on trading. Right now in the National League, there's not too many teams you want to trade with because just about every team in the National League has an outside shot.
Well, again, the team that you're going to trade with, and not to at least specialize on it, but something we've talked about plenty of time, and they've made the news, especially with recent actions that they've done over the weekend. But it is still the San Francisco Giants are that team that you still look at that are, again, they've come out and said, hey, we're sellers. Now, does that mean indications at least have come out over the weekend that if Madison Bumgarner is offered a trade, or if Giants working out a deal, from our understanding, or at least some of the comments by one Madison Bumgarner said, no, I'm going to decline that trade because I'm sticking with this team.
Yeah, but basically the Giants that have in their contract where they can opt not to be traded, the no trade clause. Matter of fact, right now, it looks like the Giants are all in. So, and this is what we were talking about this morning. Now, the guy that came over from the Dodgers as the GM is starting to look brilliant now because the young guys he's brought up, the guys that they've brought in, Dickerson, Pilar, now they're all starting to pay off in dividends. The problem, and matter of fact, we were just talking before we went on there, Derek Holland. He's been put
which
on
is no
assignment.
surprise again.
Yeah,
You're right now trying to fill out the 40-man spot, 25-man roster again. Get prepared for the end of the season. If the Giants are able to make it postseason, right now at this point in time, I do believe 2.5 back of any wild card spot.
Tied for second in the West now with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, they're at 500 once again at 50-50, 2.5 games above the Colorado Rockies. So again, tied, but every team in the NL West beside the Dodgers are looking at that wild card spot.
Right.
That's your only opportunity because, again, with the Giants, with the Diamondbacks still tied for second place, they're still, 15 games back behind the Dodgers, so that's a little
16,
out of reach.
Yeah, well, and here's the deal, too. And again, we're going to beat this dead horse, and I'm sorry that we're going to do that. The Marlins are out.
Yeah.
Okay? They're a trading partner right
Mets,
now. Mets, I think, will be out.
now we're
I think
stepping,
we'll be
again,
sellers.
losing 2 out of 3. Give credit to that series that they gave the Giants at San Francisco. We saw multiple, at least extra inning games, came down the wire, at least for the Giants, took care of business in interesting fashions. Mets defense is terrible. Their bullpen is awful, is what we're understanding.
And they actually pitched well against the Giants. Show they were weak hitting this weekend.
Well, they also faced against 2 very talented, at least starters, whether it was DeGrom or, again, taking on at least Syndergaard. So give credit, at least starting pitching is pretty stellar. It's a lot better than what you saw in Denver.
Mad Bump threw 9 great innings in that 18-inning game the other night, or 16 innings. So, I mean, he only gave up 1 run. Schmarzda got bounced. He was the only one that got bounced around in their loss on Saturday. So, but anyway, right now you look at Mets are probably out of it. Marlins are out of it. Reds are out of it. I think you could probably put a fork in the Pirates because they got the Cardinals.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But I wouldn't write off that it is a very key series there.
I'm just saying.
Pirates and Cardinals obviously know each other, and it's kind of similar with Giants, Dodgers. Anything can happen.
This could be, this is not the Cubs, but
it could be a determining factor for Pittsburgh if they are able to lose that series, which they absolutely can against St. Louis, who is, again, fighting for a wild card spot, if not also to trying to compete. They still have a shot at the NL Central title.
Well, and they're 7-3 in their last 10 games. So the Cardinals have awakened. So has the Brewers. They've won 6 out of their last 10. So again, right now you're looking at about 4 teams maybe in the National League if you want to go trading. Again, you go look over in the American League. You can write off Toronto. You can write off Baltimore. You can write off the Motor City Kitties of Detroit, Kansas City, the White Sox, the Mariners. So,
yeah.
Because, again, the Rangers are not technically out of it for the wild card. Angels, all of a sudden, are starting to play baseball. The Athletics are sitting pretty good right now in that number 2 hole, and they're right now, I think they've got the second wild card spot. Correct me if I'm wrong. Cleveland is a game ahead of them. You still got Tampa in there. You still have Boston. So there's only about a half dozen teams in the American League you could possibly trade.
Well, and again, with Tampa and Boston, they have a big series. Say with the A's, they start up at least a road, trip to Houston, take on the Astros. So kind of gut check time for a lot of teams in the AL that are either competing for West titles, East titles, or again positioning in the AL wildcard. So next couple games, at least series, are going to be very interesting as they start up here tonight. Again, Tampa versus Boston. I do believe that series in Tampa Bay. Again, Oakland, as I mentioned, in Houston. So big names getting at it. So we'll see what happens. But yes, again, there are teams to trade with, but it has been a slow. And do I anticipate that things ramp up here very close, if not the day of? Possibly, but right now it is not showing any indication. Maybe it is something that the MLB, or at least majority of the teams in the NL, are waiting for a scenario of what we just saw this past weekend, where now the Mets losing to a Giants squad, again, 2 out of 3, again, putting them
3
back.
out of 4. Giants had 4 games with the Mets.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
I thought they had 3 games.
The Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They only lost the 1. And then they took 4 from the Rockets.
I guess that's true.
They had a busy week last week, and a very good week at that.
Yeah, again, it at least was very much needed for the San Francisco Giants. But, maybe that's what we're waiting on right now for a lot of teams to make these moves is trying to determine, especially out of the National League, of who's now officially out of it. Where we are seeing key series. Here we are with the Colorado Rockies where they got 4-game, at least, road trip against the Washington Nationals. What if Washington, taking advantage of a alien Colorado Rockies team, they lose 4 in a row, which is possible. They just lost 4 in a row to the San Francisco Giants at home. There's nothing that says that they can't lose 4 in a row against this team that is 52-46 right now, a half game ahead of Milwaukee, and at least a full game ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals for that number 1 wild card spot. With that, if they are to lose 4 games, the Colorado Rockies, they stand at 47-56. Drops them even further back, possibly in the National League wild card. Whether teams are moving up, again, distancing themselves from the Rockies, for instance, against Arizona, San Francisco, Philadelphia, St. Louis, Milwaukee, whoever it may be. Maybe that's what we're waiting for right now is teams to pull that trigger, so to speak, wait to see who is officially out of things and see who is the real deal, so to speak, at least in these wild card spots.
All right, let's talk about the Rocks. And again, folks, this is just rumor. This is not anything that's being...
Well, that's all we can go off of right now.
Yeah, it's not being bantered about, so to speak. But right now, the Rockies, they need starting pitching in the worst way. They need more bullpen help.
Which has been the thing for how many years?
And right now, the name that has been thrown about, again, don't use this as law, is Charlie Blackmon.
Yeah.
Why? Well, Blackmon is not making a lot of money by today's great baseball standards. He's only making, I think, about $17 million.
Yeah, it's not going to cost you a chunk of change.
And he's under contract with the Rocks until 2022. He has a $10 million option on his contract in 2023. Now, with that being said, okay, the Rockies, I think, are fully believing now they made a mistake with Murphy, signing Murphy where they could have got LeMahieu for the same amount of money.
Yeah, again, if I was in that position, you'd probably go LeMahieu of what he's done so far.
He's a better defender than Murphy's not good defensively.
Well, obviously, again, you can't take away the fact that he is an all-star this season as well. He's been doing phenomenal things for the Yankees. So, yeah, Rockies messed up a little bit on that one.
But anyway, so just hear me out on the Charlie Blackmon deal. He's 33. And again, Chuck Nasty, I hope he stays a Rocky.
Again, multi-time all-star player. Again, phenomenal talent. Again, big bat.
And he proved it this week. If he was putting himself on display, he did so and did good at Yankee Stadium. He's hitting .319, 21 home runs, 60 RBIs. And again, he was a little hurt, in the early part of the season. So he has 113 hits and 354 at bats. Let's see what else he's got. 23 doubles, 7 triples. He's whiffed 70 times in that leadoff position. But the point is, .319, whether it's top-heavy at Coors Field and he's a little lighter on the road, so be it. But the thing is, the Rockies right now have, and again, hear me out, they got Tapia, they got Dahl, they got young guys that are not costing them a lot of money. You also got that big salary in center field in Ian Desmond.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a lot of takers on Desmond because he's not Charlie Blackmon.
Yeah, he doesn't have the prestige, or at least where, again, power players, power hitters, great defensive minds, or at least a part of that Rockies team. Blackmon, Arenado, those are the two that you're going to show interest to. But, for the Rockies, if they are desperate enough, right now, again, Colorado to build up where, again, in my opinion, with this Rockies team, they are not postseason bound. They have proven that many a time throughout this season as much as they try to.
Unless they make a move. They got to make a couple of moves, Nick.
I think the Rockies aren't going to make a move or at least anything that's going to help them out this season. They might have to move on. This might be a situation that they build up for next season of where you've kind of built up a big enough hole where I just don't see it. I don't foresee that the Rockies climb out of this thing. You are now 5 games back, 2.5 behind Arizona and San Francisco. So there's 2 in-division opponents that you'll see a few other times this season. Again, Philadelphia out in the East, St. Louis and Milwaukee, where I said that you have a good shot of having 3 teams in the NL Central representing the postseason. You still have an opportunity with that. You're not going to write off Milwaukee, not going to write off St. Louis at this point in time. And the Washington Nationals, where no one expected what they're doing right now, they're leading the wild card. They still have a shot at the AL, or at least at the NL East at this point in time for the division title against the Atlanta Braves. But right now, you have a lot of factors, a lot of interesting moves that have been happening in the National League this season where, again, did we expect the Giants to be at this point in time, 500, 50-50? No. This is a team that was supposed to flirt with Miami.
I wouldn't have given you a puncher's chance. We were talking about this
was a
2
team,
weeks ago. We were laughing at
this is a month ago where we were entertaining it, and folks, especially in the national media, were at least goofing on the Giants, where they were expecting this team to lose 100 games this season. Now, again, to lose 50 more, I mean, it's not going to happen. But for the San Francisco Giants, again, that's a surprise where they are right now in the standings, again, above Colorado. Surprise with Washington. A little bit of surprise with Arizona. And also, too, I tossed in with St. Louis. But right now, there's a lot of factors that the Rockies did not put in front of them. And now, with these, at least, this is right now for the Rockies, they're losing at the worst possible time.
Well, and here's the deal. Let's look at some real numbers. As I mentioned, and again with Blackmon, it looks like he's making $21 million this year. You've got Wade Davis, your closer, $18 million right now. You've got Ian Desmond, $15 million. There's not going to be a lot of takers on that. You've got Daniel Murphy they just signed, $10 million. Then you got a couple of really dud bullpenners, McGee and Brian Shaw, both making $8.5 million. Rockies,
again, a part of that most expensive bullpen in MLB. So
yeah, I mean, it really is.
If anything, this proves to be that at least your front office there in Colorado really doesn't know what they're doing at this point in time. Again, when they tossed around this money, hey, it was good in theory when it happened of, hey, they're investing into the bullpen. They realize it's an issue, and they're trying to get after those big guys. Well, clearly they were, you dare to say, swindled. Maybe at least eyes were a little bit wider than what they should have been regarding these, at least introductions of these bullpen players, because obviously it has not been well. It is, if not blown up in the face of the Colorado Rockies, it is their Achilles heel at this point in time. So for the Rockies, like I said, will they be buyers?
No, they're going to have to sell. They're going to have to sell. They're going to have to dangle somebody good out there because they've got to have.
I think
arms.
for the Rockies, honestly for the Rockies at this point in time, for a team that at least to realistic expectations of what they'll do before the trade deadline, I would lean more that this team just stands pat, just goes and just stays with the movement, and that's about it.
If they do that, power to them.
I don't anticipate.
I would think.
I would be highly shocked if they buy. I'd be highly shocked if they buy, and I'd be a little bit surprised if they do sell a little bit. But I can see that more than they would be buyers.
The sell would have to be, and just throwing it out there again, it would be a Blackmon, and you might package it with, as I mentioned, a McGee or Brian Shaw.
You might even have to toss in maybe a Marquez in there.
No. They're not making enough money.
They could toss in with what about a Gray? Could he be at least the final? Could this be a situation where the Rockies say, hey, we got a good, talented starting pitcher. He's had a rough, or at least he's been somewhat decent this season.
Gray's making about $2.9 million. You could throw in there,
but he's
Marquez
an up-and-coming young starting
million.
talent that maybe teams that may need to fill out spots. Rockies could entertain out there saying, "Hey, we got this piece too."
It's also about money.
I get that,
and again too.
And there's teams out there that have money to spend.
I know, but the Rockies are cheap, and that's what I'm saying. You may package. I'm just throwing it out there. A Blackmon and a Shaw. That's
possibly.
I mean, that's just for argument's sake. Now, look, I'm going to bring up the Giants here, because I was watching this on MLB late Friday night. The Giants have really spent stupid money, and I'm
well. That stupid money at least was intention to continue winning championships.
All right, Buster Posey, that's not dumb. Making almost $20 million.
Well, the guy deserves it. Again, he has all the accolades in the world. He's the franchise face.
He's under contract till 2023. Johnny Cueto, $22 million. We haven't seen him in play.
Well, that's injury. You can't do much. I mean, when he's been healthy, though, he's been a star. At least a good starter.
Longoria's been a waste at $17 million.
He's injury prone as well, and that was something that where Tampa Bay saw the writing on the wall and said, "Hey, we move on, Giants. If you want to be those buyers, go right ahead."
Schmarzda, $18 million. He's an
Pizza
innings
Valley.
eater. He's
Yeah.
an innings eater. So, but again, you could package him and send him off somewhere. Brandon Crawford making $12.5 million. He's under contract through 2022.
He's had a rough year, but he's
bouncing back?
he's a guy you don't move on with. Again, Giants. Brandon Crawford deserves that money. Again, a multi-time All-Star, defensive, just phenomenal powerhouse for the Giants. Right, again, Brandon Crawford, he deserves that money. He's not moving anywhere anytime soon.
Brandon Belt, $14.5 million.
They've had many times to move on with Brandon Belt. They're not going to. It would shock me if they move on this season with Brandon Belt. They've had multiple chances to, and they've never done it.
Money was spent on Mark Melanson, $15 million.
Well, and that was off of the promise again. Same with Evan Longoria of, hey, here's a guy that was proven beforehand in Washington to do phenomenal things as a closer, and it just did not pay off dividends. It's the same thing as what you're seeing out in Colorado with what they got. Of, hey, he's a proven guy at Cleveland. He's a proven guy at Washington. All right. We say he deserves that money, and hopefully we can get that same talent and that same, at least opportunities out here with our team.
Are you ready to, sit down on this one? Madison Bumgarner, who becomes a free agent after next season. He's only making $7 million.
Yep.
He signed a 5-year deal, and he took $35 million. He's making $7 million, and you know what? He's happy as a clam. He doesn't want any. You notice he never sits and gripes about anything.
With all this trade talks, and he shared his comments where
people. I loved it.
Yeah, and obviously we can't say it, but there was a bit of an expletive used in it. But he basically said, "Hey, I don't give a damn, so to speak, about these trade talks." Where he is focused on winning. He's a part of this team, and he's also come out and said that I'm going to deny any trade that's going to be put out in front from the Giants for me to move on. He is committed to be a part of this franchise. He said that even as contract negotiations were going on in the past, even building up to the season, he has said, I want to be a Giant. I'm committed to being a San Francisco Giant for the rest of my career. So that's where we stand right now with the Giants. Yes, they've spent stupid money. It's a franchise that has plenty of money to spend, though. It is not a cheap franchise, especially with all the monies that it did develop in the early 2010s from all the World Series. Again, with the sellouts there at AT&T, now Oracle Park. They have the money to spend, kind of like the LA Dodgers.
But no, let me step back again, too.
So I think with the Giants, they can afford this to an extent of paying Melanson and paying Longoria because, again, they're going out spending that big money in hopes, just like the Dodgers, like the Yankees, again, where these pieces are going to help them to get back in the postseason, if not win another championship.
Actually, in the case here of the Giants, as opposed to the Rockies, again, let me rephrase, or let me remind everybody, the Blackman deal is just a rumor. It's not even been written.
Well, that's all we can go off of at this point in time with at least trade deadline.
Yeah, but, like in the case of the Giants, if they unload a Melanson,
which they can. But
they're going to have to eat the salary because nobody is going to pay.
They've done that many a time.
Yeah.
They've done that with the Cabrera. They've done that many a times. The Giants, and again, that's even going back early in 2010 where they were at least getting ready to spend this big money and get those championships. This is nothing new for that Giants franchise. They can. That's why I'm saying they can afford it, and they might just be crazy enough to do it again, whether it is moving on to Longoria, moving on to Melanson, especially where with Will Smith, if they keep him on, and we'll see what happens with that as he's a very touted, closer right now across MLB. His names have been tossed out there. What if Giants decide, hey, Will Smith, we're happy with the role. We're going to keep you on. Melanson, you're injury prone. You're not worth the money, and we'll move on.
And by the way, Will Smith is only making $4.25 million.
Yeah,
and he's got a 1-year deal with the Giants. All right,
Milwaukee didn't want any part of him.
Yeah. All right, well, we need to take a timeout. We're going to come back. We got some more baseball talk headed your way after these words right here in 1480 KRAE.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range. Cheyenne Urological has been the cornerstone of urinary care to Cheyenne and its surrounding communities for over 20 years, with doctors Bryant, Everett, Gajewski, and their highly trained staff providing top-quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. Cheyenne Urological is now offering cutting-edge robotic surgery. So call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131 for compassionate, expert urinary care. That's 635-4131.
You love the Lennox difference, from collision repair to minor nicks and dents. Certified quality you can trust. Nobody cares about your car more than us. Lennox Auto Body, we do what we say. We fix it right and get you on your way. No shortcuts, no compromise. Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue and the Detail Center at 617 East Pershing Boulevard, Cheyenne. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Hop into the KRAE Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 KRAE, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480krae.com.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Weather-wise for today, partly sunny, expected daytime high of 71, partly cloudy for tonight with a low down to 51 degrees. Tomorrow, Tuesday, sunshine in the morning and some clouds developing during the afternoon with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. We're calling for a daytime high of 81. Partly cloudy Tuesday night, our low down to 53, and for Wednesday, sunshine. Expect the daytime high near 83.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Back on Wyoming Sports Talk today, Nick said during the break, well, we're going to talk more about baseball. Well, you know, to be real honest, Nick, here it is July 22nd, 9 days away from the trading deadline, and all's quiet on the Western Front. Now, there's
does trade deadline in MLB, is it something where we've seen in years past where it's been pretty quiet, that nothing major has happened?
No, you're wrong. There's been a lot of action. Look at last year, Machado. That was the big news going to the Dodgers, you know.
Well, he was a big name, but there's been other years where there hasn't been big names tossed around.
Big names are not moving anywhere, or nothing's been said. It's interesting too.
Yeah, but
we only got.
The question is, does it have to even happen? Again,
I don't know.
Does that ruin an MLB year that no big trades have happened?
I don't know. 60 games are left in the season. There's going to be some key series this week that are going to pretty much tell teams that they're either in, they're out. Cardinals, Pirates. I think that's going to be a very key series for the Bucks at PNC. Rocks and the Nationals. I think the Rocks.
You're basically just repeating what I just said a few minutes ago.
I understand that.
Right now, we are definitely in the thick of it right now with a lot of these series where it is determining factors of what teams are the real deal and which are not. Right now, you have a good litmus test. I think right now in the NL West, Dodgers are for real. You know that the Giants are at least working to be a for real team. They've invested enough to show that they are. Arizona has been somewhat consistent.
I tip my cap to them.
Arizona has been probably the most consistent team outside of the Dodgers in the NL West of just basically keeping up top or at least keeping their head afloat so far in Major League Baseball. Again, in the Central, Cubs, St. Louis, Milwaukee. That's going to go down to the wire where one team's going to win that division, the other one possibly, if not two, get the wild card. And then at least in the National League East, who would have saw Washington doing anything after where it felt like they kind of fire-selled and they moved on? Again, losing the big piece that was Bryce Harper. It felt like they still have some solid, at least pitching out there, some good, at least up-and-coming bats, but it felt like it was going to be a developing year for the Washington Nationals. But look at them in control right now so far. Still a half-game lead, but still in control of that wild card number 1 spot. And then you have the Phillies, still not going to write them off. And the Atlanta Braves, who have, they've been consistent. Granted, they've had a fight back to get to that number 1 spot there in the NL East. So that is still anyone's division as well out there in the East, whether it is Washington, whether it is Philly. We'll see what happens there. Looking at the American League, Houston's probably going to win that division, but you still can't count out the Oakland A's. A's are making a fun route to it. Who knows with the LA Angels at this point in time? They're trying to move forward as well ahead. NL Central down to Cleveland and Minnesota, but I still think Minnesota takes that division. Cleveland might be on the outside looking into the postseason due to the fact of what happens in the AL East between now the Yankees, who I still think are going to win that division, but also too now Boston's climbing back into it. Toronto, or at least not Toronto, but Tampa Bay. They've been relatively consistent throughout this season. Where
hanging tough.
Yeah, they've been a winning crew. They've proven enough that yes, they are contenders.
Well, let's go back to the Rocks. If you missed out over the weekend, the Rockies in the midst of this free fall they have.
Before yesterday's win, they were on a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah, well, they optioned out. Matter of fact, they I guess you designated for assignment, whatever. Mark Reynolds, as he is now out of the Rockies organization. They also optioned right-hander Antonio Senzatella to AAA of Albuquerque. And then they recalled right-hander Jeff Hoffman, and then they selected the contract left-hander Sam Howard from the AAA squad. So Rockies making some moves within the organization, and it's too bad for Reynolds. Reynolds at age 36 has 298 career home runs, was hoping to get 300 this season. He didn't do too bad when we watched him against the Giants.
Still can. Again, some team could pick him up, maybe more so in the American League than anything, but he could still get it.
He's a freebie. And by today's baseball standards, he is kind of a freebie right now. Yeah, and I wouldn't doubt that he doesn't end up in the American League. So, anyway, the Rockies said adios to Mark Reynolds over the weekend. Do we want to get into your poll?
We have to take one more break.
Do we want to do that first?
That'd probably be smart.
All right, well, let's take a break, and we'll come back. And Nick posted a poll, and maybe we'll get your thoughts on it. And, again, you can go to the poll.
Well, there's a reason behind the poll, and we'll explain it. So, in your elongated way.
We'll let Nick talk about that after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
The end of the summer is in sight. Did you accomplish all of your home improvements and remodeling projects? Whether you're remodeling your kitchen or adding a little extra space for your growing family, the Home Equity Line of Credit with Platte Valley Bank can help you finish what you want to complete this summer. So stop in and we'll show you the hidden value in your home with a Home Equity Line of Credit with Platte Valley Bank.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All lines of credit are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Cheyenne's oldest coin dealer and supplier, the Coin Shop, is proud to serve the community since 1982. Trade or sell your gold, silver, and other precious metals. Visit with David and the knowledgeable staff for a fair and honest assessment of your valuables. Located at 510 West Lincoln Way. Call them today at 778-7196 to schedule your personal consultation.
In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab and Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC. Do you want the peace of mind of a professionally installed security camera system? Then go with the name you trust, High West Digital Solutions, a High West energy company. The experienced team at High West Digital Solutions will customize a video security system for you, helping you keep an eye on everything going on inside or outside your home or business. Go to hwds.com or call 307-245-4333. High West Digital Solutions, the best choice, the local choice, the right choice for you.
To celebrate Taco John's 50th anniversary, our famous Sierra chicken sandwich is back. With grilled chicken and original Sierra sauce wrapped in a warm flatbread, the Sierra chicken sandwich is better than ever. Plus, we're giving you a chance to win $50,000, free food, and other great prizes with any medium or large drink purchase. 1 in 3 cups is a winner. Enter the code on the cup to see if you've won $50,000, free food, or other great prizes. The more you play, the more you win. Ole the day at Taco John's.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Weather-wise for today, partly sunny, expected daytime high of 71, partly cloudy for tonight with a low down to 51 degrees. Tomorrow, Tuesday, sunshine in the morning and some clouds developing during the afternoon with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. We're calling for a daytime high of 81. Partly cloudy Tuesday night, our low down to 53, and for Wednesday, sunshine, expected daytime high near 83.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
On Wyoming Sports Talk today, Larry Proetti along with Nick Proetti. Hope you had a nice weekend. The Daddy of 'em all Cheyenne Frontier Days is off and running. Bulls, if you are a big Bull fan, PBR will be in the arena later tonight. But the Bulls, thus far during the Daddy of 'em all, have been kicking some serious Cowboys butt. I don't, and I was thinking about that today. And again, we'll get into your poll here, but I was thinking about it. Again, this is the world's largest outdoor arena, and again, the Bulls, as they come out of the bucking chute, they look at all of that space, and they're kicking and doing everything to knock that cowboy off of their back. I'm just wondering if that wide open space kind of just puts them into a more of an ornerier type of mood.
Yes, we'll have to interview
I'm
not
going to interview a bull. I don't want to get near them things. They have been mean thus far. But anyway, PBR is in the arena tonight, and it will be back again. This is the last Cowboy standing tonight and as well as tomorrow night.
Well, tomorrow night is when the at least monies will get paid off for the PBR, as monies have already been divvied out for a few other events, at least Cheyenne Frontier Days. But again, we still have plenty of time, or at least plenty of days left for monies to get divvied out. But anyways, moving away from Cheyenne Frontier Days, which obviously we'll get deeper, at least, and talk about more throughout the week as things kind of get at least evaluated and we know who's moving on. But something that I posted on, whether it was Facebook, also too, at least on the Wyoming Sports Talk Today Facebook page, and also too on my Twitter account, Nick Wyo Sports. Something that we've talked about a few times, or at least something that we want to outreach to you, the folks out there here in the Cap City or whoever around at least Laramie County, state of Wyoming, reflects
the
at least
world.
As well, too. World can chirp in if they want to as well on the events happening here in Cheyenne. But basically, the at least thought behind this is something that we'll talk about and hopefully at least I've been in contact with some entities within the city government to see if we can get them on the show finally, at least make their debut, as they've had many opportunities. But it was a poll basically of asking, with the loss of the Cheyenne Stampede, the Cheyenne Grizzlies of the at least baseball, Rocky Mountain Collegiate Baseball League, also to the Cheyenne Warriors, that was your arena football at least team that lasted for about 3 seasons.
That long?
Yeah, I was surprised about that. That was according to the Wiki article on that.
I thought they were doomed from the beginning.
I wasn't here for the Cheyenne Warriors, so I have no idea about them. But with at least basically with those 3 teams now, not going to say defunct. 2 of them are. Again, the Stampede are dormant, even though Stampede, it's looking like they're not going to play another season here in the city of Cheyenne, at least at the Ice and Event Center. But again, with those 3 teams no longer at least in action here in the town, basically my question was out to you folks as I put up a poll on both. Again, you can go check it out on the Wyoming Sports Talk Today Facebook page or on my Twitter account, Nick Weil Sports. Basically, I asked folks will Cheyenne ever have another semi-pro minor league junior franchise in the foreseeable future? And so far, those have chimed in. You do have a week to at least get your thoughts out. Again, comment, at least participate in the poll. So far, 77% out of, at least from what I can tell, combining the both, doing the quick calculation of about 50 votes, 77% of you say no. Compared to the 23% that say yes. And does it come at a surprise? Is this something that is shocking to me? Is it something that I anticipated? It is what I thought it was going to be, again, with the no's, where I wouldn't doubt that overwhelming majority in this town, if you were to knock on every single door, at least those who are close to the athletics and at least give a damn, probably have little to no confidence that we're going to see a Expedition League team or another Western States Hockey League team.
I'm surprised you didn't put a number 3 in there. I don't care, because that's how apathetic the town is. Think about it. I mean, again, here, let me go back to the LCCC vote that time on the rack. And we had then athletic director Scott Noble here, who was a big proponent of, hey, we need to get this done. And when the voting came about, 75% of the county said, I'm not going to go out and vote. I don't care. And that's what I think.
I mean, that's just voting in general. But
if you'd put yes, no, and I don't care, I'll bet you I don't cares outweigh the yes and no's. Because that's how this town only lives for 10 days out of the year. And it's going on now. Think about it. This is it.
It does revolve around Fair Days. Yeah, again, that's where you make your money, where business is booming. It is the tourist spot that kind of vitalizes the town for a bit, and then afterwards it just sink about, and you just move on with everyday life. But again, this is going off of where we are. At least I am in an attempt to talk with and get at least questions as we've been brought up, or at least we brought up multiple times without the answers, where we put up the hypotheticals or the questions of, what are we going to do now with the ice and events that are during the winter months from October to March, now that the Stampede aren't on the ice? What are you going to do with that ice time that the Stampede we're paying for? What are you going to do with it where now it's just an empty shell? And as the mayor put out in those comments well back in that article, saying that, hey, we don't want to put this as a burden on the taxpayers. Well, it is now. But you have nothing going on there now, at least so far that I know. And again, I've reached out to Deputy Director of Recreation and Events, Jason Sanchez, also to at least put in an inquiry to Teresa Moore, who is the Director of Recreation and Events. So hopefully we will be able to talk one of those parties. I understand that they are busy right now with CFD. Go figure. But hopefully we will be able to talk with one of them, get our answers sometime this week, if not next week. So we'll see what happens. But it is something where we got serious questions here of what's going to happen with the ice at Event Center during the winter months, where we no longer have junior hockey going on out of the Western States Hockey League with the Cheyenne Stampede. What about, as we talk about with the Menard situation of getting that brand new ballpark that could fit an Expedition League team, again, a collegiate baseball league, where it is showing to be very successful across the Rocky Mountain region, if not into the high plains of South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska, even here in the state with the Casper Horseheads. Where are we at with building a brand new ballpark that was promised years ago? Is that in the works? And also, too, of the other question is, on top of all this, is the city in the talks, in the works, of bringing a semi-pro, of a junior team? whether it is baseball, basketball, football, hockey, to this town once again? Are we looking at a minor league option here in any form? And again, hopefully they'll be able to answer some of those questions. But
and again, the answer is C. Nobody cares. You know why nobody cares? Think about it, Nick. How many times we put a recreation center on the ballot?
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, this all goes into money. We've already had that opinion for those where, hey, we need to make more money to invest the tax dollars or whatever. It's all up to the local businesses to put out that money towards it. So
and we stop building damn Taj Mahals, and again, we got that. And I'm not going to knock it. We'll talk about the new airport terminal. Okay, you got one airline coming in there. 2 flights a day.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Woo. That's exciting.
Well, that was a decision by your lovely mayor.
No.
Or at least encouraged by one.
Don't. See, you're not into the politics.
I don't want to be in the politics because it's complete garbage.
It was voted on by this city thinking this was the greatest thing since sliced bread. We got to have it. Well, we got it. Big deal.
Well, maybe big deal to you. Maybe to some it's not. So, again, that's just off of your opinion. And, again, I'm not trying to beat you up, but it is your opinion, and others might. I've used it once. Granted, it was easy to access to go to DFW, but am I going to fly out there to fly to a Chicago, to a San Francisco? No, that's just insane. I'd rather drive down to Denver, pay the parking down there, pay the gas, and fly out of DIA where it's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than here DFW.
Why do we – again – tell me what was wrong with the old terminal, besides aging. Besides aging.
I flew out of there one time, and I never had an issue.
I understand, but
again, that's up to Great Lakes of that defunct airline.
Yeah, but do we need to spend $10 million, $9 million on this project?
Wasn't that required by American Airlines to at least have those that money's invested?
The first time that American Airlines was here, they required us to cut down trees and give them $1.5 million, and then they still pulled up stakes and left town.
That tells you how dumb the city is.
Thank you.
Again, you already got swindled, and who says they won't get swindled again by American Airlines? But again, that's a completely different tangent of obviously on the political side. But
again, I don't want to get into the politics, but again, you're going to throw stuff out here, and I'm going to tell you that this has already been brought forth, and we failed on it. And again, baseball. There's 2 teams, the Legion and the Mustangs.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies, which were brought into town by former County Commissioner Ron Cayley, had the right idea, but did not have the support.
Yeah, okay? And again, that is the big issue, at least question as well. And we saw that with the Stampede of, will this town support it? Does this town even deserve to have options like this? And it was something that I think the mayor posted on her social media sites about the recent, at least, Plaza concert that had, aging rap star Sir Mix-a-Lot, where I guess that drew a big crowd. When's the last time he's had a hit record? But other than that, though, you saw a few of the comments as you scroll through of people complaining about, well, at least people don't have to complain about there isn't things to do in this town. Well, other than what is happening on the Fridays at the Plaza, where it's not going to be for all ages or anyone's really going to care about. You see it all the time out here. This is the reason why I left this town many a time, because there isn't things to do. I'd rather go down to Fort Collins. I'd rather go down to Denver to at least participate in athletic events and see, the pro teams down there. Go to Colorado Springs. Go to Gering to see those minor league baseball teams, because they have it and we don't. I'm willing to pay that money to go out there, at least out those reaches.
And you're not the only one.
Absolutely not. Again, look with the Colorado Eagles. They get a lot of influx from Cheyenne folks to go watch, AAA, AA hockey down there, whether it was in the American Hockey League or the ECHL as years pass. You do have Wyoming and Cheyenne folks that go and make that drive down to Loveland to the Budweiser Event Center. So it is a very interesting subject. It's something that we wanted to bring up, as hopefully we will talk with Deputy Director Jason Sanchez, as I've been trying to get this guy on. But
and again, too, I'm going to say this about the Ice and Event Center. Inside, everything's nice. I'm not going to argue that. No, I'm talking.
Are you kidding?
To me,
this is a dump.
Well, it's right now it's an albatross, to be real honest.
I mean, the Ice and Event Center is nothing spectacular.
I didn't say it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, but it's okay. It's nice. It's not falling apart. It's not dilapidated. But it's an albatross. It's been an albatross since the day they built it. And the city bought it back from the original investors, which that's a different story in itself. Again, that's political. But the point is, it hasn't done, it's never made any money. The Stampede comes in there and tries to give a little bit back to the city.
I wouldn't say a little. Again, we saw those numbers, and they gave a lot.
I understand that, but I'm just saying they try to give back a little bit to the city to help this thing move along.
And apparently it went by blind eyes due to our leadership. Again, go back to the article, go back to the mayor's comments, and say that, again, where I'll point that out, and I still have that newspaper article because it's so special, but it is something where, they didn't do anything for the city. That even with the Stampede there, it was still a burden on the taxpayers of the Ice Event Center.
Then you pose that same question to the mayor. You say, "What are you going to do now?"
She's avoided. She's avoided.
I know, but what are you going to do now to replace all that ice time that's going to be available?
You have months now to figure that out as well. Where again, you had monies coming in from the Cheyenne Stampede, whether it was from local folks or again folks traveling in from Ogden, from northern Colorado, Steamboat, Casper. Again, teams coming in. Now you have. From October, I'll even extend it out to August because that's where, or at least September, where they were starting practice at.
They start practice next month.
Yeah, so again, you're talking about a long time where now nothing's there. Nothing's going to happen. You do have the Capitals, but again, the Capitals were already established. They've already been there. They already make their monies there. The Stampede were a bonus on top of that of what the Capitals were doing out there at the Ice Event Center. Now you have all this time, whether it is practice on ice time and then game days of those weekends. What's going to be there?
Yeah, the Capitals are.
Where are your money's coming from?
The Capitals are basically in school.
Yeah.
So again, the time that was dead ice time now is available ice time for who?
To what?
Yeah, for again, this is going to be nothing. It's ghost time. That's what that place is going to be.
Again, my goal, at least with either Sanchez or either with Teresa Moore, whoever we do get on the show, it is trying to figure out and get a pulse of what is the city, or at least these officials in our town, of what is their thoughts on recreation and events. Are they really committed? We saw the debacle, which was led by one Jason Sanchez with the Caba World Series. Granted, it's played out in the past couple, at least 2 years, where it's done all right, even though a little bit of the controversy with this year.
It's improved, yeah.
It's improved, but it's still a question mark of why is still Post 6 paying for these fields and why are they paying for umps. That was our only discrepancy with this season. But, again, we did have that opportunity, but it was still a big debacle. We'll go back last year of what happened where we had these conversations and trying to figure out what happened. Why was this just, again, a fantastic opportunity to the city of Cheyenne, but was fumbled by whoever? And it seemed like it was more recreation and events more than anything. But it is trying to figure out this conversation, again, with this poll of what is the pulse of the nation, so to speak, here in Cheyenne, but also to figure out where officials stand on recreation and events. Are we trying to bring in, are we trying to keep folks here in town and not send folks like me down to Denver, Fort Collins, Gering, Colorado Springs, wherever it may be, to get my Western States Hockey League fill? Now I got to go up to Casper, and I think Casper's now defunct. But it's an interesting question. Again, hopefully we will talk with one of these individuals this week, and again, we'll update that, whether it's social media side, when we do. But it is something that at least that's kind of the theme of this week, and hopefully we are able to dispel a few things.
I gave you the answer. C is no one cares, and B will probably be your prominent answer, no. So there you go.
All right.
That's your answer to your poll. All right, we got to take a timeout. We got to move into hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today after these words right here in 1480 KRAE.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And we have reached hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today. which is being brought to you by Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Your home for delicious pizza. Again, Joe's favorite. You can just good old-fashioned pepperoni. Again, check out the great lineup of pizzas. Always made fresh, homemade dough. And again, Joe and the gang over there flip them for you and put out a great product. They also offer strombolis, calzones, so much more, including their sandwiches on fresh baked bread. That fresh baked bread, especially when they toast it for you, I'll tell you what, man, this is the bomb when you head over to Mondello's Pizzeria. Family owned, family operated, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. 1508 Stillwater Avenue, across the street is the home of First Tier Bank. Banking done the old-fashioned way, customer service first and foremost. Ask them about their special CD rates going on right now with great annual percentage yields at First Tier Bank. Lennox Auto Body and the Auto Glass and Detail Center, the Auto Body Shop on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs. Same location as always, Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Delrange, directly across from Powers Field, and Menards for a limited time. They are serving up their strawberry passion tea lemonade, and that goes excellent with their smokehouse BBQ bacon sandwich. Again, 3 delicious squares served up. If you haven't had breakfast at Chick-fil-A, may I suggest try something from their breakfast menu. It's absolutely wonderful. Ray and Sydney invite you to come on by. 2 convenient drive-thrus, too. Open Monday through Saturday, Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Delrange. Platte Valley Bank ×2. Banking over on Van High for the Northsiders, Eastsiders. You can catch them right there at the corner of College and Pershing, open Monday through Friday. Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. How about Soul, Sorrento, Forte? You can check out the newest member of the family, Telluride. What an SUV they put out for you. Hey, if you want to go sporty, go behind the wheel of the Stinger and test drive over at Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Some great pricing plans in place right now for the summertime at Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. And we also want to say thank you to Taco John's of Cheyenne. Southsiders, yes, we know we're rebuilding the Southside location on South Greeley Highway. Check out the food truck over on, usually right there in the parking lot of the Outlaw Saloon. But again, too, they're offering the same thing as you get everywhere else, including the new Sierra Chicken. It's back for a limited time at Taco John's of Cheyenne. We get to the scoreboard. It's being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
From this past weekend, looking at local baseball for Cheyenne Mustangs down in Greeley, Colorado, as they were competing in the Colorado State Championships. Looking at very quickly, 2 games on Thursday. It was a split, however, for Cheyenne Mustangs. Game 1 against Rough Riders, it was 11-3 loss. However, against Legacy High School, the Mustangs did get the victory 11-5. Friday's lone game against Premier West, it was a loss 10-4. Saturday's contest against USA Prime for the Mustangs, it was a loss as well, 11-1. So with that being said, in the at least Colorado State Championships, unfortunately, Mustangs were unable to defend their title, and with going at least 1-3 this past weekend, they are 22-25 overall. That's how the season will end for the Cheyenne Mustangs. They are not postseason bound, unfortunately. For Cheyenne Post 6, they were in action down at Fort Collins at the Gabe Pando tournament. Looking at Thursday, 2 games against Maui, at least Hawaii and Grandview got the win against Hawaii 8-0. Grandview, they lost 6-3. Friday's lone game against Rocky Mountain Lobos, they got the victory 6-2. Saturday, 1 game against Billings Scarlets, that was a loss 5-3. And Sunday's, at least bracket play contest against Windsor Wizards, was a loss 2-1 for Cheyenne Post 6 with the weekend that was down in Fort Collins. With Post 6, they wrap up the season officially, at least regular season, 50-21 as they get ready for this upcoming weekend. As winning the Cobb World Series, they have gained entry into the Conning Mack World Series, which is happening in Farmington, New Mexico, which will get underway coming up this Friday down in New Mexico.
Major League Baseball games getting underway when we get off the air, so it gives us just a few ticks to get home to catch the Rocks and the Nationals at 5:05.
Yawn.
Peter Lambert will be on the hill. He'll go up against Eric Fetty. It will be the Red Sox and the Rays in the Trop. Cardinals Bucks at PNC. Indians Blue Jays in the Rogers Center. Reds and the Brewers in the 6 o'clock hour from Miller Park. Marlins White Sox from Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. Athletics Astros at Minute Maid. That's a very key series that'll be going on this week. Yankees Twins at Target Field. Orioles Diamondbacks 7:40 this evening at Chase Field. I'm sure the roof will be closed because it's currently 104 degrees in Phoenix. Cubs Giants at Oracle Park this evening at 7:45, 8:10. It will be the M's and the Rangers from T-Mobile Park in Seattle. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find the store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk today. A couple of baseball notes to open up the 4 o'clock hour. Don't go like that because you don't watch it. You're wearing the jersey. As a matter of fact, Mike Leake carried a perfect game into the 9th inning with 1 out.
I shake my head because you had plenty of time to bring up all
but anyway,
just kind of create a schedule out of it.
No, just anyway. So Mike Leake loses his perfect game bid in the 9th inning as the Angels busted that up. Well, the last guy to throw the perfect game was one Matt.
Well, guess what? We're not. If we go back to at least Justin Verlander's comments, guess what? We're not in friendly times at least for the pitcher. So, which again, thinking about it more and more, seeing the game, seeing what we've seen, at least in person, there might be some validity. Obviously, MLB is going to deny it, but it does seem like right now it is kind of the world, if not the baseball, against pitchers right now in MLB. You know, even we got the thoughts of one Sheldon Baxter, manager of the Cheyenne Mustangs, where he even agrees of, there's a little difference of the baseball in years past than what we're seeing right now of just how it's being manufactured throughout all kind of different leagues. So, again, is it surprising that, we had a perfect game at least broken up, or at least we had, a few no-nos that have gotten broken up that we haven't had any major situations here in 2019 of that? Not really. It is not that surprising. Again, it makes, if anything, it just bolsters that argument for one Justin Verlander of thinking that, at least baseball is juiced in this day and age of Major League Baseball.
And then we also want to, again, welcome the new class of Hall of Famers yesterday as I got a chance to watch. Again, I like watching that, and I'm glad that we have, like, the Major League Baseball Network. Unfortunately, I was late getting home, but it was apropos to have Mariano Rivera be the last inductee, as he was the premier closer of Major League Baseball. So I thought Major League Baseball did a good job on the Hall of Fame. Let's move along now to the National Football League. You printed up.
Well, it's something that you can you can go and look at USA Today, but it was official out of today about a few hours ago. As we're getting ready for at least projections, predictions.
Again, training camp's just opened.
Training camp for a few teams have opened. It's not across the NFL, but it's getting underway. I know Broncos are getting at least things set in stone right now. But
Vic Fangio was happy because, and he wasn't even expected to show up at camp. Mike Shanahan showed up. Former Broncos coach who got fired, and Fangio was very happy.
Shanahan doesn't really have a whole lot going on at this point in time, so it doesn't surprise me. But as we get ready, again, football season, whether it's college or NFL, now we're getting the projection kind of season. I also, too, want to mention, at least on the college side of things, Mountain West, at least the Mountain West Conference, They're getting underway. At least preseason football talks out in Las Vegas is going underway this week. I do believe sometime early in August we will get the preseason polls for Mountain West to kind of figure out where things alive for the football season, who's going to be at the top and who's going to be at the bottom, whether it's in the Mountain or West divisions. But looking at for 2019 NFL projections, again, this is from USA Today Sports. Again, you can go online, check this out. But interesting, well, at least outside of the AFC West, but some interesting picks across the NFL.
Let's go take a look at them.
Let's take a look at them. As I don't know why you got to ruffle the paper out like an idiot, but for the NFC, we'll start in the NFC East. As also too, they've coordinated of who they predicted basically who is your division winners. They predicted who standings, final record, so to speak. Who will be your wild cards? Also too, who will be matching up in the Super Bowl and who will be your Super Bowl winner. So we'll break that down. This is all according to USA Today. We will get into our picks a little bit, probably in the month of at least August, once we get a little bit closer. But looking at NFC East, we'll start there. Not so much a surprise of where they went for at least the lone division winner, at least postseason participant out of the NFC East. That would be the Philadelphia Eagles, where USA Today has them finishing at a record of 11-5. Just behind them, Cowboys 9-7, Giants 5-11, and the Redskins 3-13.
Because they're not expecting Alex Smith to be back.
As much as Alex Smith is shown that he's getting healthier, I do believe he got out of the boot. There were projections that he could return at a point in time this season, as we were talking last year when that injury happened, that his career was almost over. Now people are kind of backtracking and saying he might even return. He's gotten pretty far ahead on his at least rehab, that he could be back sometime this season, which is hard to believe. But with modern medicine as it is, all things are definitely possible. But yes, that is the Redskins. I would assume that they're taking off of, without one Alex Smith, where for Washington, they don't really have a whole lot of answers outside of him.
They drafted the kid, correct me if I'm wrong, out of Ohio State, right?
Sure. I can't remember. You got all that information in front of me, but again, without going into details, for the NFC East, again, Philadelphia Eagles 11-5. If you are to have a healthy Carson Wentz, and that is kind of the big question mark for the Eagles, every season going forward right now, is Carson Wentz going to be healthy? Will he have finally a full healthy season? If he does, obviously we know his track record of leading this team to kind of the promised land, or at least getting them to the promised land. Obviously, Nick Foles winning that Super Bowl back a few seasons ago. But, if Wentz is still back 11-5, I think that's a fair argument. I think Philadelphia should be the top dog, at least have the target on their backs out of the NFC East.
Well, and again, you got Dwayne Haskins, who comes out of Ohio State. He was the number one pick for the Redskins. I don't think he's going to help out in Washington. They got a lot of problems. And the New York Giants, you got an aging
Giants unloaded. They are a team that is rebuilding clearly.
I understand, but, again, you got an aging Eli Manning. Is he ready to –
Was there any expectations for the Giants to be good this year? No. This is a team that is clearly shown by at least losing and moving on with OBJ. Again, who knows if Eli Manning's on the way out? It's been tossed around for a couple of years now that he's on his way out of New York. We flirted with it last year that he was going to be bye-bye during the season. But, again, 5-11 for the Giants, does it really matter? Again, Giants have cashed in. They're not expected to do a whole lot. So 5-11, I think, might be a little too friendly to that Giants franchise that probably is going to struggle to win any games again this season.
So with them being at 5-11, then you bump it up to 9-7 for the Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is a good quarterback,
and you have the head case of Elliott as well too.
Well, yeah, but let me finish here. Let me finish.
Well, get
Dak
on with
Prescott is like in Tony Romo's shoes, good enough to win, but can't win the big ones. Not with the team that's around him. Now, even unretiring and coming back as a tight end this year for the Cowboys as he stepped out of the booth, I don't think that's even going to help. They're a good team, but they're not a great team. And that's the problem. I think, like you said, with the Eagles being voted in at 11-5. That is just dependent if their quarterback comes back.
And I would even base off anything off of records, because again, this is all complete, just guessing, or at least breaking down well before the season. And any injuries do happen to these teams. Again, this is just, hey, this is saying these are all teams healthy with every personnel available. At least your starters 1 through, at least from offense to defense, they're all out there. So again, Eagles are probably the best fit out of the NFC East. They're the team that should be, at least with the target on their backs, they should win that division no matter what.
And Jason Witten coming back to the Cowboys is good, but it's
is it something that elevates them past the Eagles, or puts at least Cowboys on the radar for postseason bound? No,
it's not going to put them in.
Does not move a needle one bit for me for the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, so we move on to the NFC South. Now they were a disappointment last year, and I had them going, places, but They were just a dud.
It's a Falcons team that ran into injuries, where they still have a good core, but they ran into
they're still a dud.
A little up and downs, and I wouldn't say that. Again, Falcons still have the talent, the tools. This is a team that was, again, a few years removed from being in the Super Bowl, if not winning the thing. Again, go back to the infamous 28-3 lead at halftime. The Falcons, at least for USA Today, had them finishing 11-5, winning the NFC South, just above the New Orleans Saints, who they predict 10-6 will be a wild card team as well, too, out of the NFC. That is a bit surprising. Now, in my opinion, of what we saw last year from the Saints who they haven't lost a whole lot, but they've added a few, at least, key names. The Saints, in my opinion, should be your NFC South winner. Again, not to allude to our picks, but this is kind of surprising are the Saints going to be that far removed from last season or where they were? Again, making it to the NFC Championship game. Team that also, as probably majority of people would say, they got robbed from an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. Are they really going to take that big of a step back this season and drop it's due to Atlanta being healthy?
It's dependent on Drew Brees. Again, Drew Brees
is probably not Tom Brady-esque, but can be one of the more consistent quarterbacks.
Yeah. Again,
he's reliable.
Still doesn't have that extremely strong arm anymore, but
still gets it done.
Yeah, the Saints, and I think a 10-6 record is very respectable. I think that's
but it's hard to believe that they would take that far of a step back of where they were last year, where they.
Yeah, but they're going to have a tougher schedule this year. Again, teams that win their divisions.
I get that, but I think this is a Saints team that proved enough last year that they can go through a tougher schedule this year and still get it done.
They didn't do well on the road, though. That was their problem.
Maybe that's something that changes this year. Who knows?
Well,
who really knows?
We'll wait.
It's just hard to believe that they would take that big of a step back and finish 10.
Well, how about the Panthers? I mean, again, you've got Cam Newton, and all of a sudden now, and you got McCaffrey. And now this team is barely.
Yeah, but McCaffrey wasn't anything wonderful.
I understand, but here's this team now that it's well under the radar. They're a 500 team at best.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair estimate for at least Carolina Panthers. Nothing big expectations from my end for the Panthers team. I think they're probably in good spots. Same with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucks 5-11 as they got predicted. I really don't have an issue. Again, we can argue at least records, wins, loss, but I think in order of the NFC South, my only issue is I'd probably put Saints above Falcons, but from then on, Panthers, yeah, they'll probably be that mid-tier. They'll probably flirt for a wild card, but that's about it.
As long as Jameis Winston is the quarterback for the Bucs, they go nowhere.
Well, we'll see what happens.
We'll see if the Bucs go nowhere.
Again, yeah, Buccaneers, I think, still have – they got problems.
He's not the big play quarterback. In the NFC North,
Minnesota is hard to believe that they'd be the top.
Along with the Bears. I thought what Mitchell Trubisky did
I think
year.
What we saw last year does continue on this season for the Bears. Same with the Saints being top of the NFC South, in my opinion. I would say that the Bears should be the top of the NFC North, where they have them finishing 11-5 respectable. Not a bad record, but I think they'll probably have that 12-4 record where Minnesota does. Minnesota doesn't impress me. I think if anything, I think if anything, Vikings probably take a step back from what USA Today has them predicted as. I'd probably have Bears number one, who continue the trend of where they were last year, and I think they're going to be that much better this season. If not, they could flirt where the Bears could probably have the best record in the NFC. That is a legitimate possibility, in my opinion. But I think I would see in the NFC North probably Bears number 1, Packers number 2, possibly.
It depends.
I don't write off Rodgers. Again, if he can stay healthy, I don't write him off kind of like a Drew Brees who can be consistent. So I'd say Packers could still be number 2. Vikings, probably your third team. Vikings do not impress me.
Vikings in the pack will probably battle for 2. Yeah. Again, still not sold on Kirk Cousins being the cure-all, be-all for the Vikings. He was average last year. He was average, and he's making big bucks being average.
Well, look what happened with the Denver Broncos. We ran through the same situation, and guess what? He's bye-bye.
He's gone.
Yeah, and then for USA Today, at least just from their predictions, Vikings 12-4, Bears 11-5. Bears would be your second wild card team out of the NFC. Packers finishing 9-7, and the Lions 3-13. Again, out of my order, but the Lions finishing dead last about that record. Yeah. Lions have worlds of issues. They're going to flirt with probably having that number 1 pick coming up this year.
Well, and it's amazing with the Lions too, because there's always they can see the forest through the trees, and then all of a sudden they.
And you feel bad for Matthew Stafford, who is a good quarterback.
He's a great quarterback.
He just has nothing there to help him out. What I compare Matthew Stafford is what we saw in the early years of the 49ers with Alex Smith, where he has good talent, but he has no tools around him. He has nothing to throw that ball. He has no help. His offensive line is terrible, and it's just awful to say because we've seen when Lions have put up a decent line, decent tools and talent around him, that Matthew Stafford does have the talent. He can get it done, but right now Lions Lions are on the same stint as the Giants and the Redskins, where they're rebuilding, retooling.
And former New England coach Matt Patricia's not going to be the answer there. It's like
it's going to take time.
It's like when Megatron retired, Calvin Johnson. Mm-hmm. When he retired, that's when the team went into a free fall. They have not been the same since Megatron retired.
Well, I think that's where the pieces kind of fell.
And Golden Tate's now he's with them, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't they pick him up?
I do believe so. If not, I'm not entirely sure on that. But again, with the Detroit Lions, it's a team that is rebuilding at this point in time. Again, you talk about the retirement of Megatron. That seemed like that was the beginning of the downfall for the Lions, where they realized, hey, what we built into this team was not working. Let's try anew. Hence the reason why you went out and got Patricia, again, a well-known or at least a good assistant up in New England.
And to replace Megatron, again, I'm just throwing this out there, Golden Tate is not him.
He's not on the same level as Calvin Johnson.
He split time with the Eagles, and then they got him last year. But
again, Golden Tate, his years up in Seattle were not phenomenal. You're comparing apples to oranges of the level of talent between Golden Tate and Calvin Johnson. Golden Tate's not even close to the same level as Calvin Johnson.
I agree. All right,
so just wrapping up the NFC with the West side.
Yeah, and then we're going to take a break here, so we'll go to the NFC West.
This is a bit shocking.
I'm not shocked, but
This is what I try to convince you.
Last year I told you. Last year I said they weren't ready for prime time. You didn't believe me. This year I think they could be.
I think you saw in this last at least a few games, including the one I was at against the Denver Broncos there in Santa Clara, that the 49ers, if they were fully healthy,
that was
are
with
a
Mullins
dangerous
as the quarterback.
Yeah, that wasn't even with half of your starters on that field, and they still got it done, and they had a hell of a run with Nick Mullins. But a healthy Jimmy G, you got a healthy, bolstered offense, new pieces on the defense, especially with one Bosa on being on that side. Now we'll see what happens with him, but USA Today kind of swerved a bit. I'm all for it as being obviously a 49er fan and something that I believe that this team is ready. But USA Today goes with 10-6, your NFC West division champion, the 49ers, which is very surprising because right behind them, tied for 9-7, both the the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks.
Well,
that's
also
bit surprising.
You look at if Jimmy G has
the LA Rams. I think the question outside of the 49ers are the LA Rams, the team that made it to the Super Bowl, who again did not lose a whole lot of pieces, still have Goff there. Again, this is a talented team. You lost, a few names here and there, but are the Rams really going to take that big of a backstep?
Here's what the NFL is all about right now. And again, this goes back to Commissioner Paul Tagliabue. He wanted parity. And this is what this USA Today article is all about. It's parity. That anybody on any given
that a
Sunday,
Rams team is going to fall from grace from being in the Super Bowl
because,
to being out of the playoffs this year.
They've got the tougher schedule this year. In addition to the West. The West is tough enough. Seattle and the 49ers are going to be tough. So then you got your outside opponents this year that are going to be even tougher. So I'm just saying this. This goes back to what the NFL is trying to accomplish: parity. They want everybody to be 8-8 if they could have their way.
What about that team out in the AFC? At least out of the AFC East, where's the parity there? That been through again. That has a talent that can still at least forego these tough schedules. I don't think the Rams are going to drop down that far. I think for USA Today, as much as, again, I love, picking the 49ers as winning that at least NFC West, but I still think you need to give some respect to the LA Rams, where it's a team that is not going to be awful, or at least is going to struggle through that gauntlet of if they are through that tough schedule. I really highly doubt that.
Well, I think, too, with the Niners this year, of their first 3 draft picks, Bosa, who will be an impact player.
Again, rookie.
Debo Samuel, I think he'll be Goodwin needs help.
And still a rookie as well. Again,
and also
proven.
And then Jalen Hurd, again, from Baylor, another wide receiver.
Yeah.
They got a lot.
Jimmy G's he's got weapons.
He's got a lot of weapons to throw and run. We saw that they had a really good running game last year, too. And again, defensively, Bosa.
Defense was your issue last year.
Bosa, in my opinion, better than his brother. Nick is much better than Joey.
I mean, they're both good talents, but picking one or the other, I mean, I'll gladly go with Nick Bosa.
And Nick Bosa, again, younger, probably more healthier. Joey Bosa, that's been his problem.
The only thing Nick Bosa had to deal with, it's not going to be a big issue, but just leading up to the draft, kind of similar of what Josh Allen had to deal with last year, of bringing up his former Twitter pass, his social media pass, and kind of that's been the focus this offseason, even into training camp, where reporters have been bringing up all that controversy or trying to make a big issue out of it. So hopefully he gets past that nonsense that media is trying to at least put on him.
But the Cardinals, even with Murray at the quarterback position, because –
yeah, Cardinals, they're going to be awful.
But they beat the Niners twice last year, too. And, again, I know there was both times without Jimmy G. And again, the 49ers had a really tough schedule last year. Let's give them their due. And when
I think it was
Jimmy G went down, he went down against Kansas City. That's no slouch team.
Yeah, I think with the 49ers last year, they were up top, I do believe, if not 1 or 3. At least previous years, at least strength of schedule, at least win combination. Yeah, 49ers had one of the at least tougher schedules of last year.
But again, what I'm seeing here,
and they still made a good run of it, of where this team was pretty much written off. You had no one healthy on that team. You were going to backups. You were going to guys who have not had starting reps at any point in time, and they were still pulling off wins. Whether it was against Denver, whether it was at the tail end, they were getting it done. And it was respectable.
And now, again, where I go back to the parity part, out of the 16 teams in the NFC, 11 of the 16 teams are projected to be 500 or better. Only 5 teams: Giants, Cardinals, Lions, Bucks, Redskins, all under the Mendoza line. But everybody else is the Panthers are they're at 8-8. Everybody else is expected to be better. So that's what I'm saying. The NFC, and this is just me, the NFC has worked its way to doing this, getting that parity.
I think the NFC is going to prove that they are the better conference this year compared to the AFC.
They're going to beat themselves up, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's probably what's going to happen. But again, to recap before we get to a break, division winners, we'll start with the NFC West, as we mentioned, with the 49ers projected to win 10-6, their overall record. NFC North, the Vikings 12-4 to win that division. NFC South, the Falcons 11-5. NFC East, the Philadelphia Eagles at 11-5. And your 2 wildcard teams would be the Chicago Bears 11-5, the Saints 10-6. Again, this is all projected out of USA Today, which was unveiled today, and after the break, we will get to the AFC.
All right. Well, real quick here before we go to the break, I just wanted to punch this up real quick on my board here, because you were talking about the Rams, and you think the Rams are going to be better than 9-7. Okay, just so we just have a working idea. Here's the Rams' schedule. They draw the Panthers. They're on the road at the Panthers.
Beatable.
They get the Saints. Now
Prove that they could beat them. They beat them last year in the NFC Championship on the road.
But the Saints beat them in the Coliseum last year, didn't they?
All right.
They have the Browns at Cleveland. Buccaneers.
I think Rams should beat them.
Okay, the Buccaneers will be in the Coliseum.
That's a win.
Rams at the Seahawks.
That should be a win. Seahawks do not impress me.
Okay, 49ers at the Rams.
You might have a split between Niners and Rams.
Rams at Falcons. Bungles at the Rams.
You'll get a win there.
Rams at the Steelers because it's the West has the South this year.
Who knows what the Pittsburgh
the
Steelers,
North, excuse me.
Who knows what the Steelers right now?
Bears and the Rams at the Coliseum.
That's going to be tough.
Ravens and Rams
should
at
beat the
Coliseum.
Ravens.
Rams Cardinals.
They'll beat the Cardinals
Seahawks
twice.
will be at the Rams. Rams at the Cowboys, Rams at the Niners, and then the Cardinals and the Rams. So what I'm hearing in your voice,
out of the
you
NFC,
got them at about 11-5.
I think that's a good reality. I think in the NFC West alone, they should get 2 against the Cardinals easily. There's no doubt about that. It might be a tough go of it, but they should get 2 at least out of Seattle. That's 4 there. And they might split with the 49ers. So that's 5 wins just alone right there in their own, at least in their own division, which I think is a good possibility, at least with Seattle. Nothing against Russell Wilson, but that whole team is a big question mark, and where they have them finishing 9-7, it's hard for me to believe.
All right,
Seattle's nothing that special.
Here's what the 49ers have, just real quick here, because they have them predicted at 10-6. 49ers at the Bucks.
Win.
49ers at the Bungles.
Win.
Steelers at the Niners.
Again, toss-up. Steelers are the biggest question mark right now.
Browns at the 49ers.
That's going to be a tough one.
49ers, Rams. 49ers at the Redskins.
We should win that one.
Panthers at the Niners.
Good possibility to win.
49ers at the Cardinals, if they
you'll win
screw
that
up. Seahawks at the Niners. Cardinals at the 49ers. Packers.
49ers might toss up with Seattle. They usually do. Again, that is a big rivalry.
Right.
So
Packers at the Niners. Niners at the Ravens.
Should win the Ravens. Packers, an issue.
49ers at the Saints.
Yeah, I don't see them winning that one.
Falcons at the Niners.
I don't see them winning that
Rams
one.
at the Niners, and the 49ers wrap up with Seahawks. I got them at 8-8, maybe 9-7.
Possibly.
So, again.
Could they win the NFC West? Possibly. I have faith that they can. Again, going through that schedule, there's possibilities. It is just really trying to figure out if the full healthy 49ers team doesn't mesh as people are projecting to it. Will Jimmy G, again, his first full healthy season, hopefully, will he be the guy that they paid big money for?
Well, and the key, too, is after the September 15th game against the Bungles, if they're 2-0, coming back home for the Steelers and the Browns, and maybe we could start, talking that this team is a playoff-bound team or a potentially playoff-bound team. We need to take a timeout. We're past break time. We're back after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
We'll work hard for your business, and we'll work just as hard to keep it. I'm A.J. Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and you need to see the new 2019 Kia Sportage today. The 2019 Kia Sportage offers numerous options and advanced driving features that help you know who is around you and how best to stay in control. Kia Sportage offers many standard features for the money. Some of the competition does not. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Capital Lumber is lumber one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is lumber one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY-FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Don Morris at 307-637-0301.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Weather-wise for today, partly sunny, expected daytime high of 71, partly cloudy for tonight with a low down to 51 degrees. Tomorrow, Tuesday, sunshine in the morning and some clouds developing during the afternoon with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. We're calling for a daytime high of 81. Partly cloudy Tuesday night, our low down to 53, and for Wednesday, sunshine. Expected daytime high near 83.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480, KRAE.
We're back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. We move on quickly here into the AFC East, where they have the Patriots, and nobody's going to be shocked. As long as Tom Brady's healthy and as long as Tom Brady still is under center or operating another shotgun, yes, the Patriots are the team to beat in the East.
Yeah, they have them at 11-5 prediction, so no big issue there.
I like the love being shown the Bills and one Josh Allen.
8-8, I think fair estimate. Maybe it's a team that could still finish below 500. There's a good possibility, but again, Bills not postseason bound, not anticipating to be. Jets 7-9. I have a hard time believing that. They might be.
You think Darnold's a little better?
I think you subtract a few wins off of that. They might be winning 6 or 5 possibly, but again, 7-9. We'll see. 3-13 for the Dolphins. Yeah, fair.
Or they could flip-flop with the Jets, possibly.
No, I think Jets are probably better than the Dolphins. I think
the Dolphins are the worst team in the East.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. I think without a doubt, Jets a little bit better. You might have them at 6-10 possibly, but again, Bills 8-8, might be 7-9, might be 9-7, somewhere in there. But again, order of Patriots, Bills, Jets, Dolphins. I think that's a fair estimate. I really do.
All right. Well, I don't think anybody dethrones the Patriots. They could even go 9-7. They're still going to win that.
The only way you're dethroning the Patriots is, again, if Tom Brady goes down, which is a possibility. Again, he's getting up there in age.
Yeah, but he's not brittle, though. I'll tell you that. He's got a lot of stamina.
He's been knocked out of a season beforehand, so
that was a long time ago. He has not been. He's been very durable.
He is Roger Goodell's golden boy. So at least
yeah, right.
Wow.
Let's see what else we have here. We got the AFC South. All right. The Colts.
I think the South probably has a chance to be one of NFL's probably most competitive divisions. Where we're talking with the West being a beat-up kind of division, the South has that probably ability as well, too, where any 4 of these teams have a legitimate shot of winning that division and also, too, representing in the wild card. Might even steal 2 wild cards if they really wanted, but we'll see about that. But right now, projections, Colts winning that division at 10-6. I guess they're going to give the tiebreaker to them in some way over the 10-6 Jaguars, who they're saying is going to be a wild card.
I think Andrew Luck will have a little better supporting cast around him. He's a
Colts are the darling favorites right now heading into the season. They are anticipated to do at least what USA Today is kind of predicting, but 10-6 being division winners, I have no argument with that. Jaguars 10-6. That is really tough.
Now remember, Nick Foles now is projected starting quarterback.
Whoop-de-doo.
Oh, no, I'm just saying that because Blake Bortles.
Yeah, he's really nothing special either.
He's hasta la vista.
But to jump over the Tennessee Titans with one Marcus Mariota,
I got a
bit
problem.
surprising.
I got a problem with that. I actually would have the Titans over the Jags.
Yeah,
the Jags
that's why I'm saying any of these teams could easily flip-flop.
The Jags are there because they got a better defense. I will give the Jaguars the defensive nod over the Colts and over the Titans. But offensively, Nick Foles, I don't think he's the guy to be the leader of the Jags. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't either. But behind them, again, Titans 9-7 and finishing dead last in the division. Texans at 6-10.
Boy, not showing any love for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's a bit surprising.
This whole division, can I be real honest?
It's a toss-up.
The AFC South could all be 8-8.
Possibly.
In my opinion.
This is going to be a division where they're going to beat up each other very – you're going to see a lot of season splits where,
exactly. Nobody's dominated. Nobody is dominated out of that
I could easily see the Texans where they're predicting them to be dead last division winners. Absolutely. Again, with Watson and what they're building up there. Again, J.J. Watt. The Texans have an ability. They are a team that does fluctuate but can be postseason bound. Titans, again, Marcus Mariota, who's been developing. He's had his issues. Again, doesn't have really a strong supporting cast, but maybe it's enough this season. It meshes well. Titans could easily win. We saw what they were doing last year. Jags, they are an up and down roller coaster ride where they were awful, good, awful, and could they be good again? Again, under Nick Foles, I have a hard time believing it. It wouldn't surprise me if the Jaguars are probably your worst team in the NFC South. And then the Colts, where Andrew Luck has had a rough go of it being there in Indianapolis, has shown stints that he can be a very good quarterback. He just needs help. Well, he's got that help, but will it mesh? Again, the AFC South is the biggest question mark division of where and again, I see all four teams making it postseason, possibly.
Like I said, I see them all at 8-8, to be real honest. We go on to the North. And to me, I don't know if this is a year for Mike Tomlin. Either he wins or he's out. I don't know. Because he just can't seem to get the Steelers over that hump. They're good. They get in the playoffs, and then they're out.
Well, and they had their issues last year, again, dealing with the
outside distractions.
The outside distractions, but Steelers 11-5.
I think that's a fair pick.
Ben Roethlisberger, where he is aging, he's not
but he's
really
still Ben Roethlisberger. He knows.
It seems like year in and year out he's trending downwards. It's nothing that special, but again, he finds a way to muster up some special.
He just wins. That's it.
I just don't see it this season. I really don't. Again, Steelers, they can be that great team at 11-5 as I thought they were last year. This season, though, I have a hard time believing that they will be 11-5.
You know why they win? They're the Steelers. For some crazy reason, it's almost like they step onto the field and you're intimidated by them, and they got a 3-point advantage right away. They're the Steelers. And Ben Roethlisberger.
I really don't think that's the nature of this year.
I'm just saying.
The Steelers are, again, who would I be more afraid of?
They won 2 games last year. They shouldn't have won.
Who would I be more afraid to take on this year out of the AFC besides the Patriots? Between, for instance, again, the Steelers, and we'll get into the AFC West with the Chargers.
I'd be afraid to take on the Browns.
Yeah, I'd say probably the Browns more over the Steelers, and I'd probably take the Chargers over the Steelers of teams that are probably more frightening to play this season than the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point in time. But again, Steelers, they have them at least predicted to be your NFC North champions at 11-5. 10-6, Cleveland Browns, I think fair assessment. But I think Browns this season have a good shot and probably a legitimate shot. And I think, at least to show my cards, I think Browns should win that division. I really believe so. Ravens 8-8, sure. They might be 7-9, 6-10. Not really splitting hairs with that one. They're not going to be any. Yeah,
he's okay. And again, too, did he need to replace Flacco? Absolutely. Lamar he's an exciting quarterback, but he's not going to lead you to the Super Bowl.
No. And then wrapping up the NFC North,
Bungles.
3-13. Yeah, no surprise. Cincinnati's terrible.
Yeah, and they did nothing to make themselves any better. Nope. We're going to take our last time out, come back. We'll look at the West after this.
Introducing Digital Wallet, a new way to pay with Platte Valley Bank. Add your Platte Valley Bank debit card to Google Pay, Samsung Pay, or Apple Pay, and have the ability to make purchases with just your phone. It's secure, simple, and accepted by millions of merchants worldwide. Try it today or check out pvbank.com for more information.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys heard only right here feature Pepsi products. 24-pack, 12-ounce cans, $3.99. Pabst Blue Ribbon, 24-pack, 12-ounce cans, $15.99. And Black Velvet, 1.75-liter bottle, $11.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader. The message is simple. Drive sober or get pulled over. If you drink and drive, remember it's illegal and it can cost you your freedom or worse, your life. It's been determined that a blood alcohol content of 0.08% or more can impair you considerably when you are behind the wheel. Financially, it can devastate you if you get arrested. More importantly, it could result in losing a friend or a family member. That price is too high to pay. Call a designated driver after enjoying a night out and get home safe. Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
To celebrate Taco John's 50th anniversary, our famous Sierra Chicken Sandwich is back. With grilled chicken and original Sierra sauce wrapped in a warm flatbread, the Sierra Chicken Sandwich is better than ever. Plus, we're giving you a chance to win $50,000, free food and other great prizes with any medium or large drink purchase. 1 in 3 cups is a winner. Enter the code on the cup to see if you've won $50,000, free food or other great prizes. The more you play, the more you win. Ole the day at Taco John's.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
Weather-wise for today, partly sunny, expected daytime high of 71, partly cloudy for tonight with a low down to 51 degrees. Tomorrow, Tuesday, sunshine in the morning and some clouds developing during the afternoon with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. We're calling for a daytime high of 81. Partly cloudy Tuesday night, our low down to 53, and for Wednesday, sunshine, expected daytime high near 83.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Back on Wyoming Sports Talk today as we take a look at the AFC West. If I'm not mistaken, in the West, they get the NFC North this year, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they get AFC South for their scheduling, in addition to beating each other up in the West. So as we look at this, Nick, and I'm like a year behind because I had the Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers, winning it last year.
Well,
and they were a bust.
They showed promise last year. Again, Chargers.
Or the Chargers. They fade.
I guess. But again, Chargers have been building up year in and year out where they're trying to get back in kind of that prestige level of years past. But again, looking at the projections, 12-4 this year to win the AFC West over the at least Chiefs, Raiders, and Broncos. Yeah, I think there's a legitimate case right there. I think you could absolutely say that, yes, the Chargers have an option to win the AFC West this year. I think that's a good option. I have no question, again, 12-4 winning that division. I have no argument with that. Right behind them, Chiefs, 11-5. They're projected to be the other wild card out of the AFC, along with the at least Jacksonville Jaguars. 11-5 for the Kansas City Chiefs under Patrick Mahomes. No argument.
No argument there.
That is going to be splitting hairs.
He is the real deal.
Those two teams are going to be splitting hairs between who's winning division, who's going to the wild card. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. I have no issue if Chiefs win it or LA wins it. It's going to be one of those, and the other one, consolation prize, goes to the wild card. Absolutely. Now, beside that, with the Oakland Raiders' final year being in Oakland, we've officially figured that out, that they will at least end their season in the Coliseum. They will not be on the road, whether it's in San Francisco, whatever, before they head out to Las Vegas next season. They will play their final year in Oakland at the Coliseum. 5-11 has Mark Davis and everyone else, part of that Raiders franchise, said, hey, we're going to win a championship here in Oakland before we go to Las Vegas. Well, it's looking like that's not going to happen. 5-11 for the Oakland Raiders, even with the additions of big names that they added.
Still in rebuild mode.
Yeah, certainly.
According to USA Today.
I don't know if you can say rebuild for Raiders. It sounds like with the moves that they did, it's, hey, we want to win now. We want to get that championship here in Oakland. 5-11. It's hard to say that the Raiders will be that low this year. They might flirt with maybe being 500, possibly. But I think with being in that same division against the Chiefs and the Chargers, there's 4 losses there possibly right there. You might take 2 from at least from the Denver Broncos, which I think is I think it's fair to say that, yes, they should sweep Denver this year. But Raiders 5-11, slight issue with that. I think they could get 8-8, but we'll see. Yeah, Raiders not postseason bound. That would be a surprise if they are, but we'll see if those pieces that they brought in, those big names, do they pay dividends, and will the Raiders be that surprise team, so to speak, in the NFL? We'll see. And then at the bottom, as I predicted, or at least I'm predicting, we went through that schedule, and we'll go through it once again as we give our picks about all this, but USA Today is saying that the Broncos finished dead last in the AFC West at a measly 4-12. And I think in that projection, I think that's a fair estimate for what the Broncos are going to do.
Does that mean that Flacco will start and will not be the starter by season's end if they're going to be 4-12?
I really don't know. Who knows at this point in time? The Broncos just shift whatever quarterback in and out as they please. Again, John Elway does it all the time.
Does that mean Elway could be hasta luego at the end of the year?
If they finish 4-12, if this prediction comes true that they do finish dead last, Broncos, you need to get rid of John Elway. There's no doubt about it. There's no more flirting around with this idea, or, again, you're just ticking off more Bronco fans at this point in time. You finish 4-12 this season. Yeah, John Elway, that experiment, it needs to end this offseason. There's no doubt about it.
So we will, again, this is from USA Today. We'll have our own picks coming up.
We do want to mention as well, too, they
Teams
did
are in camp.
With the USA Today picks as well. For the Super Bowl, they have the matchup between the LA Chargers and the Philadelphia Eagles, and they are selecting the Chargers to win their first ever championship against the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's the USA Today picks. Again, Super Bowl between Philly and LA, with the Chargers winning it all.
And I just got this sent to me here from the University of Wyoming Cowboy football. Mark this down in your calendars. The game against Idaho will be a 3 o'clock start at the War on October 19th versus New Mexico, 2 p.m., and the Wolfpack on October 26th. That will be a 12 noon start over at War Memorial Stadium. Coming up this evening,